My sister had a baby about 6 months ago. Since then the baby daddy has not really stepped up at all. They apparently are still together, but went from seeing her 5 or 6 days a week to maybe once a week. He doesn't buy anything for the baby. He does nothing. She constantly complains and is turning super bitter to the situation. She calls me every day and does nothing but talk about her crap baby daddy. I asked her multiple times to give me updates on other parts of her life, but she will say one thing and then somehow tie it back to her baby daddy. Yesterday, she goes on a tangent about how she never would have had a baby if she knew she was going to be alone. I got irritated and asked how she didn't see this coming. She then says, what the hell is that supposed to mean? I say he has 3 other baby mothers, works a slightly above minimum wage job, doesn't have reliable transportation. His other baby mothers have said that he doesn't do crap for their babies, and there is no way 3 women are all lying. She says he told me otherwise. I had no reason to believe. He said this was for the long run. I say, well, it looks like he is taking a long run away from his responsibilities. I love you, but you're bitter. He is responsible for his kid, but it's no surprise what's going on. The sooner you realize you're a single mom and take his butt to court for child support, the better off you be. She then cursed me out and hung up on me. She is no longer speaking to me and no longer having me babysit her baby. My mom is mad at me for pissing my sister off and now having to babysit more. She agrees that I spoke facts though. Not the idiot. It was tough love. She was venting to you every day, and it wasn't about some unfixable thing, like having a chronic disease. It was about something she can help. I hate when people complain on and on about something they can help improve. Your sister needs to wake up. He has a pattern of doing this, and she's deluded herself into thinking she would be special, that he would transform into an amazing partner and father for her alone. I know someone exactly like this. And unfortunately she can barely get any child support from him because he makes so little and has 4 other kids, all of whom he's ordered to pay child support to, and his wages can only be garnished so much. Not the idiot. I'm my bio dad's first kid, so my mom didn't realize how much of a bum he is. Then he got another lady pregnant, and she turned her anger to my mom for no reason. Then he almost married one lady I did like, but ruined that to the point she came running to my mom for advice. He finally settled on one lady and married her so she'd be a citizen, and eventually had 2 more kids. But this last lady, as much as she loves my bio dad, doesn't understand how much grief he put on his first 2 kids. She only sees him as this hardworking dude who gets depressed thinking about his first kids. Not he's this bum dad who abandoned his first kids and refused to pay child support, even though he can afford it. I lean towards you are the idiot, not because you're wrong or that she didn't need to hear it, but because you didn't take her feelings into consideration very much with how you approached it. It sounds like she needs someone to love and support her as she deals with the mess she's made, and she might not be ready to face facts. I think you should genuinely apologize without telling her that you were right, even though you are, and let her know you're there for her. She's going to need you a lot when she accepts what but the father of her child is also. Kindly end conversations when she brings up her woes. You don't have to listen to her, she won't respect your boundary. I met my husband through a mutual friend. He was a single father to Juju, who was 4 years old at that time. Juju's mother filed for divorce soon after she got pregnant and signed away her parental rights. Essentially, Juju's entire world was my husband, she was his. I was first very reluctant to date a man who has a kid before because I know Juju will always come first, but he was an amazing man, and I fell in love with him. I met Juju after 8 months of dating, and honestly she is the most adorable child I have ever seen. We got married 6 months later, and she was my precious flower girl. We had my daughter when Juju was 6, and she is the best sister. I have never given it a second thought about teaching Juju anything, or buying her anything. My husband and I have combined finances. He trusts me fully. If I see something Juju will like, anything sparkly or anything with unicorn, I will immediately buy it for her. We are relatively wealthy, so money is not a problem. Every birthday when I buy a gift for my daughter, I buy one for Juju too, and do the same for my daughter on Juju's day. Juju's maternal grandparents visit her sometime during the holidays, and they always lavish her. Juju has always called me by my first name, and I have never had a problem with it. Juju is 16 now, and to me, she is my daughter. I had a milestone birthday yesterday, and my sweet Juju had ordered a custom-made mug with best mother ever, and an adoption form for me to adopt her. After a lot of ugly crying, I said yes, and we have contacted our lawyer to start the process. We could not be any more happier. I posted it on Facebook and immediately Juju's grandmother called cursing me out. I am not a confrontational person. She keeps telling me how dare I even think about adopting Juju. She is not mine. Juju's aunts have also started a tirade, and my husband just hung up on them. We have been getting awful messages about me brainwashing Juju and how I manipulated an innocent child. I didn't think I did anything wrong, but our mutual friend is saying adopting Juju will mean erasing Juju's mother, and it is wrong of me to do it. That is not my intention. My husband says Juju wants it and we are not forcing her. I am not wrong, but I am having a sleepless night, and would like my judgment. Am I the idiot for raising my stepdaughter as my own and wanting to adopt her? I'm so sorry, OP. But as someone who has 2 sets of steps, I can tell you that she must love and truly trust you to do this with you. You did raise her. And I'm only assuming, but it appears her own mother wasn't in the picture. You've been fair and accommodating, and the extra gifts are so adorable, by the way. I say, not the idiot. It's unfair and also belittles the very adult decision Juju has made on her own. She sees you as a mother figure. I know it's easier said than done, but screw the maternal family. They aren't taking her to school or cooking for her or bathing her. You and Yabu are. So in this case it should remain the same. A decision you both make. But you also already accepted, so congratulations on your second child, OP. Don't let the negativity Nancy's infiltrate your family. Not the idiot. You're a younger version of my MIL. She's not my husband's bio mom, whom he last saw when he was a few weeks old, but she's his mother. Step is not a prefix his family uses or finds applicable. They don't hide or lie about being a blended family, it just doesn't come up a lot. People pretty regularly tell us that my son looks just like her, and if it's a stranger, we don't bother to mention it. No one is erasing history when they skip the step. If history ever shows up, we be friendly and polite. What you're doing is adding something, not subtracting. I'm sorry your daughter's relatives are upset with you because all you are doing is legally recognizing what's already true. Not the idiot. Juju is 2 years from being 18. If her bio mom had any chance of coming back into her life and raising her, it's gone. They could always have an adult familial relationship, but you'll always be the woman who raised her and shared her family with her. It's pretty telling that she wants to be adopted. You want to adopt her, her dad wants you to adopt her, and bio mom signed away her parental rights. So everyone who has a problem with it is basically not involved. I think it's more likely that they fear you're erasing them, since her mom is essentially the claim if they have on her. I'd reassure them that you'll consider them family always, since they've always been there for her. I'm a young woman living in a big city, and I get approached by men a lot. Oftentimes it is in a very unfavorable manner. Men often get extremely angry when you ignore them, tell them no, etc. I've been grabbed when I try to walk away, threatened, followed, cursed out. It's honestly traumatic. A few weeks back, I was waiting for the bus, and a man would not leave me alone. He kept trying to get in my face, talk to me, etc. Finally, I had an idea and used the little sign language I know to sign I am deaf, and mouthed the words to him. He nodded, said oh, and immediately walked away from me. I've been doing this quite a bit recently. It's backfired once when a man pulled out his phone to type into his notes app, give me your number, but after that I mouthed that I was 15, and he went away. I'm not, I look young though, but sadly that strategy doesn't always work. Gross. I mentioned this to a friend, and she said I was the idiot because I was pretending to have a disability. I truly never thought of it this way and feel very guilty. I like to consider myself a fairly woke and socially aware person. I learned some sign language from a deaf customer I had a few years ago. I know this doesn't make me part of the deaf community, and I'm still a hearing person. Selfishly though, this has really saved my back. I feel a lot more comfortable going out in public alone because when I pretend to be deaf, men realize they can't communicate with me and leave me be. But it's still pretending to have a disability, regardless of how it helps me or not. And that should be inherently wrong, right? I don't know and I'm conflicted. I don't really know any deaf people that I can ask. So, am I the idiot for pretending to be deaf? Not the idiot. Is it morally objectionable? Yes. Should you maybe try a different strategy like a different language? Yes. But holy hell, what the hell is wrong with these guys? I'm sorry this happens to you. If this were happening to me, I'd go with the foreign language tactic first, then just scream, you're hurting me. Or back off, or I'm 15, stop asking to buy me a drink, or I don't go for influencers, or harem didn't die for this. Feel free to use adlib. Oh, I just remembered. This happened to a friend of mine. She was getting accosted on a train, and she just screamed lol. 3 inches. That guy exited the instant he was able to. I call it a reverse Uno. Not the idiot. Firstly, I thought a pretty good portion of the deaf community don't see themselves as disabled and are offended when they are treated as such. Anyway, I don't see a problem with signing to people even if it's just you spelling your name and not stating that you are deaf. I have done a lot of crap to deter these insane men. You know the dolphin curse word on SpongeBob. I just start chirping loudly in dolphin and men move away from me quickly. Explaining to them that I have a boyfriend or underage or really just saying no is such a waste of time and energy. They never care about my reasons. Just jump straight to dolphin chirps and watch, then walk away fast. Not the idiot, that's freaking good, yo. I'm a dude, and if a girl pretended to be deaf, I'd just go sign language, but then again when females aren't into it, I'd just kinda leave. But if your experiences with men are that common and extreme, I'd be more concerned about where I live. As a note, I'm a suburban and rural American, so I don't know anything about cities. If people are that threatening with you, I'd recommend getting a concealed carry permit. Your safety should be your primary concern if people are being that nuts. Take some courses on firearm safety and self-defense. Then start carrying. Again, just my opinion. My 36 meters wife Lex, 33F, is a middle school teacher. I work as a financial consultant. We make decent money, and a few months ago, we purchased our first house together. Our neighbor, Ryan, 40s male, lives across the street with his wife and toddler, 2F. He's been very friendly and comes over to chat all the time, including a couple of days ago while I was working on my car. He stayed for maybe 30 minutes and then left, as usually. Later before bed, Lex asked me if I ever noticed that Ryan does not speak to her. I said I had no idea what she was talking about, and she said he will only talk to me and not her, that she noticed none of our neighbors address her, and that their wives never come with them. I thought she was exaggerating and she said forget it, so I did until yesterday. Ryan and another neighbor, Frank, 40s meters, were walking towards us while we were doing yard work. I watched as they walked past Lex, who waved at them and said hi, to come talk to me. This time, I did notice that they didn't acknowledge her. When they came up, I said hi, and we started chatting. When Lex went back inside for a minute, I asked why they didn't wave at her or respond. They claimed they didn't notice her, and I asked how could they not, that she was less than a foot away from them when they walked past. Frank joked that his fiancée says that he can only hear voices under a certain timbre, and maybe that's why. Ryan laughed, but I didn't. I asked him to acknowledge Lex when she addressed him. He said it's not that big of a deal, and Frank agreed. I said it was to me. Ryan suggested that Lex should go hang out with his wife so we could hang out, and she didn't feel ignored. I said it's not about hanging out, but just common courtesy, that they were on our property and should acknowledge her. Ryan said that he felt no need to talk to Lex, because I was his buddy. Frank agreed and said, besides, teachers tend to be no fun. Mine were annoying as hell, and they both laughed. So I told them to get off my property. They told me they were kidding and to learn to take a joke, but I insisted they leave. They did with a couple of apologies, though they didn't sound super sincere. I haven't told Lex what happened yet. I will when we go to lunch today. But this morning, we were touching up our flower when another neighbor, Ben 30s, came over and told me Ryan and Frank were saying I was being an idiot. Lex wasn't around to hear this, as she was watering the flowers in the back of the house. He said it was a bit offensive, but that they're good people and were kidding, and I should go make things right as to not disturb the peaceful neighborhood, but I don't think I should. Either. To be clear, none of the conversation involved any yelling or anything. No cursing or name-calling, either. But we just moved here and I might have put us in a bad spot. Not the idiot. This is either some bro white girl cootie crap or some funny promise keeper or Billy Graham rule crap. Either way, it's fundamentally rude to treat your spouse this way, while trying to be pals with you. You know right now that they think your wife is at best, negligible, at worst an obstacle to your bro fun. That tells you what kind of friends they are, and whether you want to be around them. Ryan suggested that Lex should go hang out with his wife, so we could hang out, and she didn't feel ignored. No, Lex doesn't have to go get in the kitchen with the other exiles from bro world, so the menfolk can do whatever. Not the idiot. You haven't done anything but demand your wife has shown common courtesy. If they don't want to apologize and insist on badmouthing you to others to the extent they're now getting involved and telling you to apologize, it's probably not as nice a place as you thought to live. It's difficult because falling out with a neighbor can mean decades of hell. You have my sympathy. Next time someone sticks their nose in and makes a comment, why don't you try telling them that you're more than happy to resolve things and live peaceably, if they come over and apologize sincerely this time. It definitely sounds like there is something else going on if everyone is avoiding and ignoring her. It sounds intentional. Is she particularly attractive? I ask because jealousy could be at the root of it for the wives, and that could lead to the husbands avoiding interaction. You could reach out to one of the guys at a time and invite them and their partner over for coffee or drinks, and have a conversation about why there seems to be a communal block against her in particular, citing specific instances where it's been an issue, and, rather than accusing them, frame it as a request to help you both to get past whatever bias seems to be affecting everyone in the neighborhood.